In today's video, we're going to be learning how to sew this milkmaid gown. Please, I already have a video on how to draft it. So let's get right into the video. So in our last video, we had already drafted this. So I'm just placing the drafted papers on top of my fabric and I then cut it out. This part is going to be two. Then I cut out my lining for each of them. So I'm going to be running a thread on top of it to make sure that I have 8 inches. Okay, I'm going to be running a loose stitch on it so that I can gather it this way into enter one of these cups, and then gather the second one so to enter the second one, because I told you this particular piece has to be two for each breast cup. So I just run a thread on top and under this fabric, this one I'm holding right now, so that I can create a gathers. Okay, so I'm just gathering the top, and then after this I'll still gather the bottom so that I don't have more than 8 inches. You have to calculate your own, measure out one of the cups that you didn't cut, that you didn't slash, okay, and then measure out what you have. Me, I have 8 inches, that's why I'm working with 8 inches. So after this I'll just be placing each of them on the breast cups, so you can see the one placing them. So before then I'm going to be sewing up a rope which I can tie. Okay, so I'm going to be measuring it to ensure that I don't have more than 8 inches again, and then I will cut out my fabric, about a piece of fabric, just 1.5 for the width, and that's 1.5 for the length, and then for the width I have about 14 inches. You can use as much as you want. Okay, so this is it. I'll be folding it in that way. I'll just show you how I folded it in, and then I will show you. So don't forget that I'm marking out my darts because I have darts here, so I'm going to be folding in my darts. All right, so I'll just show you how I just folded this top part. Look at the way it looks. I just folded it in to make sure that my rope is remaining, so I can tie it at the middle whenever I wear this dress. Okay, so this is how it looks. So I'll join this now to the rest of this fabric. I just pinned it now, so you can see how it looks when you are done pinning it. Just pin it to the breast cups. You just pin it, each of them, but this must be after you had already added your loops on top. Okay, so I just pinned this part from this point, then to the extreme I sewed it round. Then I still joined the middle to whatever part I want. Some people want their own middle part to be open, but I wanted mine to be closed. All right, so I'm just pinning this around this breast cup side. All right, so this way, just round, and that's how I'll stitch on it. I'll run my stitch here, then I'll still join this middle part. So you have a choice to join yours so that you can easily tie the ropes whenever you wear the gown. Okay, so after this now I will join my lining, this lower part. I will still show you how to join my lining on your lining on top of your fabric. Okay, it's very simple. All you have to do is to stitch on this lining to hide all these rough edges. So you have to sew round with this lining. See the way I'm turning it this way? You just start this way and then sew all the way to the other end. It's that simple, and this will help you hide the rough edges of this material of this gown. So this is how it looks after I had already finished it. Okay, we are almost done, but we're still in the making. Okay, so after this now, for the back, see how the back is. I'm going to just simply turn my back with my lining. Make sure that your armhole sides are, you can see the way I placed it, they are on different sides. And after that I still added my darts, and I kept this one side so I can show you how to stitch it together. But before you stitch it together, don't forget that you have to add your sleeve. Okay, and to cut the sleeve is very simple. I'm not going to be using I just want to use a puff sleeve, yes, a gather sleeve, but it will not be that long anyway. So for this sleeve now, I'm just cutting my length at the length of the sleeve at 18 inches, but I just rather go with 17 anyway. So you can still decide on what you want, whether it's a long sleeve or a short sleeve. So after this now, I'll cut out this other end. At this end, I'll be working with 14 inches. For the width of the sleeve, I'll be working with 14 inches. You can work with as much as you want, but me, I just decided to work with 14 inches. So after this, I'll just cut this out very easily, and then create my loops. This part that I'm creating now is for my elastic, so I can pass my elastic through. So I just created it at the top side and at the bottom side. You can see how it is. Then I'll be using my drafted paper to cut out my armhole, all right, so that I can know where my armhole will start from. You can see at what end I placed this paper on. So once that is ascertained, I just quickly cut out this armhole, and this is how it looks. So I now have my armhole at my sleeve, and then I still have it at the rest of the fabric. Now you see that you use whatever elastic you want. I would rather go with this off-white than this black, because the black is a bit too big for these loops that I created. Okay, so I'll just measure out about 10 inches. You can use more, depends on the person you're sewing for. Okay, so I used 10 inches, and then I cut it into two. No, I cut another one, not into two. I cut another one. So I have two elastics of about 10 inches. All right, now for my if you're using a long sleeve, you can measure out your wrist, but I am using around my arm sleeve because it's not even up to my let's just say 3/4. So just measure around the circumference of where you are stopping. Okay, and so this is where I am. This is how I just cut out this one for the lower part of the sleeve. Okay, don't forget that the 10 inches is for the upper part of the sleeve, the one around the armhole. All right, so that's it. So if you're using this part, you can just measure it out when you are done cutting. Depends on the one that you are using. So I just pinned my elastic, and I'm going to pass this elastic through the opening until I get to the other end. So this is it. You can decide to just pin each of the ends, so that it doesn't get loose, or you can decide to tie the two ends of the elastic together till when you're ready to stitch it up. All right, so it depends on what works for you, or whatever you want to use at that moment. So if you are watching up to this point, and you are yet to subscribe to my YouTube channel, kindly go ahead and subscribe, turn on your notification bell, so every time I upload a new video, you'll be the first to be notified. Thank you. So I'm just continuing to pass my elastic through the openings till I get to the other end. So this is what I mean by tying them up. Okay, you see that you pin it, or you just tie it up at this end so till you're ready to sew it. Okay, so now I have my armhole. Now I will quickly use this end, one of the ends. I'll just use it and place it this way. It's that simple. All you have to do is to make sure that the two armholes are meeting together, and then you run your stitch over, and you do the same for the other side this way, and then for the other sleeve. All right, it's that simple. Okay, it's that simple. You can see that we're making a headway already. So I'll just run my stitch now, and then I'll show you how it looks. So we're practically almost done. Once you fix your sleeve, you just have to go to the lower part of this gown. I'm working with a gathers. You can decide to use a flare, you can use a straight cord, anyone that works for you. All you have to do is just to attach this to the upper part of this. You have to I'm attaching it at one end, and that's the zip end. Okay, and once you are done doing this is practically all you have to do for this. There is nothing much about this gown. So thank you for watching. Stay tuned for more videos.